So welcome back to my channel. This is Dom, and probably a quick game of Pike and Shotte using the relatively new War of the Samurai book from Warlord Games. I have talked about this project for a while on the channel. A couple of the guys down the club have shown an interest, particularly Paul, who is a bit of a feudal, well, generally a Japanese fanatic. He's very much into everything to do with Japan, history, culture, everything else. And I know he's very keen to play some samurai games, and I'm always up for that. And I do like Pike and Shotte. I think it's one of my favourite supplements. Or one of my favourite versions of those sort of fairly generic Hail Caesar, Black Powder, Pike and Shotte sets of rules. I like Pike and Shotte the best, I think. Anyway, long and short of it, I wanted to do some armies, or do an army, but for whatever reason I just can't get going on painting them. I've struggled and struggled and struggled. I can do the peasants and some of the basic troops, but the samurais have just defeated me. So I had some commission painted by Outpost Painting, and Jack there did a great job with some, and also I bought some other figures on eBay that were painted, and as a result I've actually got quite a lot. I showed I showed a short of them laid out. You've got basically all my Asaguro and samurai lined up there. Some more peasants and what have you here. 7 samurai in the village. And some more samurai here. The unit of foot there, that's actually is a unit I painted. They are all steel fist miniatures. I was going to do I don't know what I was going to do, but I painted them up single based some time ago, and never did anything with them. So I spent some time stripping them off their bases, multi-based them, so that's another unit of samurai ready to go. Anyway, I thought, well, while I was laying them out to see what I got, I might as well have a little game. So I don't know how this is going to play out, because one side is considerably larger than the other, but they are defending. So what have we got? We've got some samurai cavalry here, samurai bowmen, some samurai with various melee weapons, mainly swords. We've got the Asaguro with muskets or arquebusiers, some pike arm ones, some more samurais in black in the middle there, some more Asaguro there, pikemen, and some more samurai cavalry out there on the wing. Couple of general commands here. Really pleased with how this is coming together. It does look spectacularly good. Defending, we've got some skirmishing bowmen, small unit of peasants there, another unit of bowmen there, commander there. We've got some peasant archers in the built up area defending the barricade. 7 samurai in there. They're the special figures that Warlord did. Not sure how I'm going to play those. Obviously a small unit. I have to work out what I do with those. There's the samurai at the back, and a small unit of samurai cavalry who are coming to the rescue. And moving across here, some more Asaguro skirmishing, this time with arquebusiers, some peasants, and some more peasants. So you can see I've set up the table as it is. This is supposed to be, don't know why there's some resin there. This is supposed to be a paddy field. There's another paddy field here, another couple of paddy fields over there, which will obviously slow movement. We've got a river which will definitely slow movement, apart from across the bridge, and some hills, and then a couple of woods, and of course the village itself. So the scenario is that the troops from the Oda clan have been tasked with securing this village. The peasants obviously not too keen on that idea, and they've been backed up by the 7 samurai, and with the promise of some more help coming their way, and we'll see how long they can hold on. So there we go, that's the scenario. Let's get cracking. Right then, given the fact the Oda clan is the attacker, and they're coming on the board, I'm going to make them move first, give them first move. So I've basically got two divisions, battaglia, whatever they're called in the Japanese period. So the first one is the cavalry, the spear, and the arquebusiers and the samurai, all under the command of this general here. So he's in the supplement. There's a whole load of special rules around espionage and ninjas and assassinations and all sorts of stuff that can go on. Plus, there's some special rules around generals having basically a sort of fortified, well, a positional camp that they command the troops from. I'm not bothering with any of that, mainly because it's difficult to do the sort of espionage type things when you're playing solo, and also because simply I haven't painted up haven't had painted up the commander-in-chief tent thing. So we're going to go straight battle. So two battaglia on this side, so the rest of the battaglia is the 3 units of samurai out there on the wing. I'm going to say they're all mercenaries, Roni, because I've got rather a lot of samurai, I think, far too many actually, and that's one of the good things about laying out your figures, is you start realising what you need and what you don't need. Anyway, so let's start with this left wing. They are basically going to, I think the infantry are going to advance 2 moves. 2 moves forward is their aim. They roll an 8, so they actually only get 1. So I'll do that and I'll come back and do the cavalry. Right, there you go, they've moved forward. The spear unit on the left side of the line has slowed a little bit because they just started to hit the paddy field. Everything else has moved forward the 1 move. The cavalry, they're going to attempt to move basically 3 moves round onto the flank there. Okay, they just get the 1. Yeah, it's going to be a slow old process because they're half speed and they're only allowed 1 move through the rough ground, so they might actually have to divert and go through the wood. But anyway, that's where they get to. So that's the first command done. Let's move on to the Ronin here on the flank. I think they're just going to do, well, again, the infantry will move first. They will advance to the edge of the river, which is about 1.5 moves, something like that. So, going to do 2 moves. And they get plenty of moves, so they're up for it. Right, so that's them there. I think the cavalry, should they attempt to cross? No, I think they're going to try and soften up those, well, not going to have much joy against skirmishing light infantry in the wood. So they're going to try and cross the river and charge against those skirmishing bowmen over there. They rolled a 4, so that could be doable. So 1 move gets them to the edge of the river, like so. Half a move to cross, and that leaves them another half move to charge home. So yeah, they actually make it, surprisingly enough. Wow, first turn. Bosh. So the skirmishers have an option to evade if they wish, which I think they're going to do. Okay, so first thing, I'm not entirely sure how to play this one. They in the army lists, they describe those the infantry as infantry skirmishers, but they don't have the skirmisher trait, special rule. I think I'm going to say they're skirmishers because I just don't think if they say they're skirmishers, they're skirmishers. So yeah, it's a bit odd. I'm not quite sure. So given the fact that the cavalry basically would have been slowed when they hit the edge of the wood, in fact they probably would stop at the edge of the wood, means these guys, the rule on evade in the rules is that it's an automatic reaction to troops that can evade, and they basically do a full move backwards. And if the charger continued their charge to their full extent and made contact, then you would fight the melee there. But given the fact the cavalry can barely reach the edge of the wood, that's not going to be an issue. So they pull right back into the woods. Discretion, the better part of valor, and all that, given the fact that they're dealing with a whole load of samurai horsemen, which is not so good. Right, so I think that's the end of the turn, end of the movement turn anyway for the Oda clan. Let's do some shooting such that there is. Right, we're going to start with the samurai bowmen, who are going to fire at the skirmishing asagaru on the hill. They're well within their 18-inch range, so it is 3 dice for the samurai. They will be hitting on a 4, goes to a 5 because it's a skirmishing target. Oof. Double 6 and a 5. Well, it looks like this could be a very quick game. So they take 3 hits, obviously, and they are disordered. Their saving throw, morale save is a 5+. Saved 1, but take 2 casualties. That will also it will shake them as well because they only have 2 stamina. So that wasn't so great for the first round. I'll put the counters on in a minute. I'll just leave the 2 beside that to remind myself. Right, moving across. So next up we've got a unit of arquebusiers here. Now the problem with them is they only have a 12-inch range, so they aren't in range of anything. No more missile men. The cavalry over here have got nothing they can fire at. So that is all the shooting. So I'll just put the counters down for the casualties and back with the peasant and 7 samurai turn. Okay, so they've got their markers on, so they're in a little bit of trouble. It's now, as I say, the peasant turn, so I'm going to start over here. Given the fact the archers fell back, do they go forward again and try and... They've got to be very close to be able to shoot. And they are 6 inches away. Actually, they should be further than that, should they? Because they went back 6 inches, so they should be back there. So they're 6 inches apart because that's their evade move. They could do an initiative move forward, but that's quite risky. But then, at least if they move forward, they can fire. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to chance their arm. They're here to slow them up. So under initiative, if you're within 6 inches, you can do it a move forward or a back. So they're going to do that, come forward again, and try and put some pressure on those samurai cavalry. It was either that or attempt to charge with the small unit of peasants there, but the trouble is they've got quite a lot to worry about with a whole load of Ronin coming their way. Yeah, they've got a lot to worry about. The unit here on the hill, I think they won't do anything. They're going to try and lose that disorder, and maybe then they can start to get some casualties back. Nothing doing in the built-up area or the village. The troops over here on the river line, I think the both units of Asagaru musketeers are just going to advance up to the edge of the river. So they'll do it as a battalion order. So basically I've got battalion is these units on the hill, are basically all these 4 units out here, plus the guys in the village are under one command, and the other units, the 3 out in the forest, are with the other commander, who's going to have the reinforcements come on. I'll start dicing for them next turn. So they're on their way. Right, move the 2 units of arquebusiers forward, just needing 1 move, which is what they get. So they basically just move forward to the edge of the river. So it's on to shooting for the peasant army. I don't think these boys are going to be in range, because it's 12 inches. They are certainly not, and they're not either. So that is nothing doing for the moment. A small unit of peasants in the village. They've got longbows, but they're out of, well, not longbows, they've got laminated bows, which is an 18-inch range, so they are out as well. Over here, the shaken unit, well, they've got to fire. They might as well. I think they're going to concentrate on the samurai in front of them. So they're a small unit of Ashigaru with Tipo. So they only have a shooting value of 1 because they're a small unit. So they're firing, would be hitting on a 4, but goes to a 5 because they are shaken. So they missed. So I'll take the disorder off. And then in the woods, the small unit of bowmen this time. Actually, they were bowmen too. Never mind, doesn't matter. Same factors. They're not tapus. They're yumi. How can I tell my tipos from my yumis? They will fire at the horsemen. They get 1 shot again. They are within 3 inches, which makes it would be 4, goes to 3, but back to 4 because it's an obscured shot. They do hit the samurai. The cavalry are saving on a stamina value of 4. They don't take it, so they take a wound. And that's the end of turn 1. So back with turn 2. So the Oda clan. We're going to start here on the right hand flank with these mercenary samurai cavalry. So they got an interesting choice here. They could do an initiative charge on the bowmen, which would allow them to do 1 move. It's going to be half speed because they'll be slowed by the wood, which will mean they can move a maximum of 4.5 inches. If they do that, however, the bowmen can evade quite happily because they'll go away 6 inches because they're not slowed by the wood because they're skirmishers. So, do the cavalry attempt to charge and dice for it? I think they do. I think that's what they have to try and do. So they're going to try and ride down those pesky bowmen. They are going to need... well, they're rolling on an 8, so we'll see how far they go. They only roll an 8, so it's a mute point. The bowman will run back 6 inches again. And the cavalry will go forward 4.5, which is half their distance. Of course, that does mean they're a little bit closer now, and it does also mean that these peasants are on their flank. But if they don't push these pesky vermin out the way, So we get to support them. We're going to use the Yari armed samurai and the bow armed samurai, and they're going to advance forward. So we're halfway between. So they're going to try and get 2 moves and charge into those guys on the hill, and the bowmen will support them. They only get the 1 move, so they're only going to move 3 inches across the river. Right, moving across to the main battalion of the Oda clan. Well, I think what they're going to try and do, have to break up this formation. So we're going to start with the arquebusiers here. They're going to advance 1 move, which they could have done 2, but they're going to go forward to the edge of the river. So there. The Yari armed Ashigaru are basically going to try and rush straight across the river. They'll have to form into a deeper column, which will slow their progress, but they're going forward as far as they can, backed up by the samurai. Ooh, 4 moves. That's 4 dice. So 4 on the dice gives them 3 moves. So 1 move gets them forward to there. They'll then narrow down, which is 2 moves, and 3 moves gets them chugging across the bridge. And the samurai in readiness will form into a deep line as well to follow them through. Got to try and punch through quickly. So the reason why I broke those up is they're all doing different things, and the battalion order you have to do the same thing. So those units are doing the same thing, but the other 2 units were not. The remaining Yari armed Ashigaru are going to move up on the flank to try and provide some support and threaten those skirmishers there. 3 moves if they can get it, they get 2. So it's going to be half speed moving through the paddy field, which means they move 6 inches to there. Bowmen, let's move the general forward. Sorry, the cavalry over here, samurai cavalry. But it's clearly pointless to try and go through the paddy field, so they're going to go that way as far as they can go. 2 moves. So 1 move gets them to the edge of the wood, and then they're slowed moving in there. Oh no, what am I doing? They go 4.5, half moved on. So they get to there, hits the edge of the wood, and then 4.5 gets them to there. They get through a little bit quicker that way. Right, there you go. That's all the moves on this side. No shooting on this end of the table. Are the Ashigaru within range? They've only got a 12-inch range. They are now up onto the boys on the hill, so they're not in range of anything else. So they're going to have to fire at the disordered or shaken guys on the hill there. Now that is a Ashigaru unit with Tipo, which has 2 shooting dice. Now, given their Oda, I could upgrade them to having it's one of the clan variations. So the Oda clan can have marksman, which basically give you a reroll, but I'm not going to give it to them on this battle because I think the defenders are up against it already. So we'll just do a straight up fire. They're firing at the skirmishers, so it would be a 4, goes to a 5. Missed both shots. Moving across, we've got the bowmen here, who will also fire at their tormentors up there. So they get 3 dice, hitting on a 5 as well because it's a skirmish target. The dice roll adds up to 5, and that is all the shooting. So it is now the defenders' turn 2. They can dice to see whether their reinforcements arrive. A 5 or a 6, they arrive. They do arrive. Okay, so they'll be coming on the base edge to give a little bit of support to the beleaguered defenders. Let's do turn orders. So over here, getting a little bit snug here, so these boys will advance under initiative again just to get to within bow range, so they're at 3-inch range, so they can actually see those cavalry. I think they've got to do it. The peasants are going to charge the cavalry here. They can do it under initiative. Now, because they didn't, start behind the flank, it means they can't charge the flank, which means the cavalry can at least conform. So it basically counts as a frontal charge. So, but the cavalry can't respond in any other way. So we'll see what happens. Peasants charging the poor old cavalry. Right, over here we've got the reinforcements come on, and we want to get forward. So we're going to move the samurai foot are going to basically come forward as far as they possibly can. They roll a 6, so that's 2 moves. And the cavalry, there you go, they've moved forward 2 moves. The cavalry will, I think, come forward and support as well, so they'll come on the flank. They don't get any moves at all, so they don't come on. Okay, so they're still off the table because they're an 8 command. I'm allowing them to, because technically they're out of command radius of my general here, but again, for the scenario, I'm allowing them to come as quickly as they can to support, so we'll ignore that rule until they're on the table. Now they'll have to abide by the command radius rules. So sort of got temporary marauder rule, put it that way. Into the centre, what do we do? This is looking a little bit intimidating for the poor defenders. 7 samurai there. They will just shuffle up to support the bowmen, which they do. Can't get them in there because of the basing, but they're basically right behind the bowmen to provide support. And I think over here, this line is going to do a shuffle across. No, it won't. It fails. So they're still sitting on the hill going, yeah, I think we'll stay here, thanks boys. Right, a bit of firing. The arquebusiers is here. They are just out of range of this unit down here. This unit, their closest target and in arc is this unit crossing the river. So it's only 1 shot because I think that is anyway. Yeah, it's just 1 shot because it's a skirmish unit, a small skirmish unit. They are hitting on a 4. I'm not going to say they get cover for the side of the bridge. Still miss, so that's done. And the unit of bowmen in the built-up area here in the village will fire onto the column. So again, it's 1 shot hitting 4s. They hit. The Asaguru have a morale save of 5, which they get. So they don't take any wounds. There was no 6, so they're fine. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. I was going to move the general forward to rally off a casualty off there, so I'll go back and allow myself that. Oh yeah, he does. There we go. So he joins that unit, takes off that, which means they're no longer shaken. And to celebrate that fact, they're going to fire their arrows. Oh, well, they have to fight the closest target, which is the samurai in front of them. They hit. The samurai save on, oh, what is samurai? Dismounted samurai, what do they save on? 4+. They don't save it, so they take a casualty. What else we got over here? So over here, now we've got a combat, haven't we? So we've got the poor old peasants are revolting. They are charging in against the mounted samurai. Okay, strike all that. The peasants are not going to charge, because if they had, the cavalry, because the charge came from the front, would mean that they could countercharge, in which case the infantry would be disordered, and that's not going to go so well for the peasants because they're only a small unit as well. Now, what they probably should do in hindsight, and my opponent is allowing me to change my my turn, even though we've gone past it, because he's a good sort like that. So we were roughly like that, weren't we? So the peasants will attempt to move forward, turn, and charge into the cavalry. So they're going to need 3 moves to do it, which is quite an ask, but let's see. They don't do it. So all they do is move forward. They're slowed because they're in the wood, and they are now past that unit. So that kind of seems more reasonable to me. So anyway, which also means the bowmen could have fired. So they're going to fire 1 shot at close range into the horsemen, who are obscured. So there's going to be a 4 to hit. They do get a hit. Cavalry save on a 4, which they save. So yeah, forgive me. I think that makes more sense and better to do it right. So that's that. We are now on to Oda turn 3. So what do they do? So I think the cavalry here are going to have to charge into the upstart peasants. I think that's got to be what they do. Now again, they could do it as an initiative. No, they couldn't, because an initiative would allow, all they do as initiative is turn once. They wouldn't be able to actually charge. So they're going to have to do it as an order. They therefore need 2 turns, 1 to turn and 1 to charge. And they roll a 6, so they definitely do that. The infantry can receive it, react to it and turn. Because I just looked that bit up. And this could be curtains for the peasants. There we go. So that's that. The other units here in this command, these samurai backed up by the archers are going to charge the skirmishers up there on the hill. So they get 2 moves. So 1 move gets them to the edge of the wood, and the 3rd move would get them to there. The skirmishers, however, will retire, evade, and get themselves away from dodge. Now, because the general was with them, he goes with them. So let's do the moves, gets them onto the hill. They couldn't have made contact with the skirmishers as they ran, so that's as far as it goes. There we go, the Ronin at least are across the river. They couldn't have made contact with the skirmishers as they ran because they just didn't have the move distance. Okay, back to the centre, to the Oda clan proper. They're not in initiative charge range yet, so we're gonna now they're gonna have to do a move down, form into column, form into their proper formation, and then charge home. So they're gonna need 3 moves to do this, and they fail. They're gonna, because their commander is also the CNC, they're going to do a re-roll. So they only get 2 moves. So they come down the bridge to there. They're not quite in range, but they formed up. Because I don't think they could charge in that deep formation. There we go. And what's next? The arquebusiers. The arquebusiers will cross over and move to support them. No, that's a 10, so that's a failure. so they don't move at all. However, the samurai here that are in march column can get a free move. So they're going to move forward to there. And that finishes the Oda turn. So cavalry can't, they're getting lost in the woods. They can't really do anything over here because they've run out of orders. These guys are sloshing around in the paddy field. And it was all because of these guys with the arquebusiers. So shooting wise, they can't see anything and they're out of range anyway. The bowmen that move forward to support the charge, because they've got no viable target anymore, they're going to fire at the skirmishers below them. Not short range. Actually, it is short range. So they are hitting on a 4 because it's up 1, down 1. They get 3 dice hitting on 4s. Wow, 6 and a 4. So these fellas are disordered. They also need 2 saves of 5, which they don't save either. So they are shaken again. They're 1 in excess, so they're going to have to do a break test at the end of this turn. In fact, they might as well do that break test now. So they are 1 in excess and they're disordered, so it's -2 on their roll. So that becomes a 5. 5 becomes a 3, which is not going to be good. Unit breaks and is destroyed. Well, they were pushing their luck a little bit, so that unit is gone. The general, I think, joins another unit, so we're just pushing back through the paddy field towards his friends there, because I can't reach them. Okay, that's the rest of the shooting done. We got the combat to come, which, yeah, not sure this is a wise one for the peasants. They've got themselves in the right old pickle there. Probably should have fallen back rather than fought it out, but never mind. We live and learn. Well, in their case they won't. The cavalry are charging, so they get, wow, they get 9 dice. 9. They are hitting on a would-be 4, goes to a 3. Yep, 3. They are also tough fighters, brave and valiant. So tough fighter gives them 1 reroll. So what did they hit here with? They got 2, 4, 6. They missed with 3, so they get the 1 reroll, which also misses. So they've hit 6 times. The defenders save on a 6, but I'm giving them cover because they're defending the woods, so it's a 5. Wow, they did alright there. Saved 3 of them. So only 3 went through. 3 casualties on the peasants. Now the peasants fight back. They're not going to be brilliant. They've got yaris and swords. They are tough fighter, however. So they get 4 dice. Oh no, they're a small unit, aren't they? So they get 3 dice. And they get a reroll. Well, don't need a reroll because they've hit with all 3. The samurai cavalry are saving on a 4. Oh, they lose 2. So actually quite a good fight in the end. However, the cavalry win by 1. The peasants they have a stamina of 2, so they are 1 in excess, so they are shaken. They also lost the combat by 1, so they're doing a break test at -1. They're up for it, look at that. They rolled an 11, so they are absolutely fine. So the next round is fought out. Now the samurai cavalry have a 4 stamina, so they're up to 3 of that. So they've been worn out by these peasants, pesky peasants. The peasants themselves go back to 2 because they've rallied off the excess. So that's the end of the Oda clan's turn 3. So back with the peasant turn 4. Of course, I meant peasant turn 3. So I think, I mean, they're going to lose this melee here, but I think these archers might as well try and support. So they're going to charge in. Now skirmishers can't usually charge into formed infantry, but given the fact that that's an existing melee and they're hitting them in the flank, I think they're allowed to do that. So that's what they're doing. If they can get another casualty on those samurai cavalry, that could put that unit out of operation for a while, which and we're trying to buy time basically. So the rest of that command is the reinforcements. Oh yeah, does the cavalry come on? 3, no they don't. They needed a 4 this time. So the samurai cavalry haven't arrived to support, but they have got these samurai infantry coming. They are going to advance, well that's 2 moves I think. They get a 5, so that would be 3 moves. So 1 move gets them to the edge of the paddy field, and then half a move sloshing through the rice fields gets them to there. And the commander will move back to support them. He won't actually join them, he's just going to come back to, actually I'll move him back to there, then he's sort of helping out wherever he needs. So the tardy cavalry haven't appeared yet. Over here, so I think the archers will retire. Yeah, the archers are going to basically pull back. Oh, that's another dice off. They successfully do. They roll 1 move, so they're going to come back over here, out the way. And the 7 samurai are going to move forward and line the hedge, line the barricade rather. Right, they're ready to defend the village. What should we do? I think these fellows, they can do an initiative move and turn to face that column and provide some fire support. The other skirmish unit isn't going to move. The peasants on the hill are going to try and do their move that they tried to do last turn, which is basically shuffle across, which this time they do. Right, there you go, that's all the moves. Oh, do I move these arquebusiers? They're out of range, so I think these are going to move just a little bit across. Yeah, they'll just move across to there, ready for the next attack across the river. Right, shooting wise, we've got the arquebusiers firing at the arquebusiers firing at the assegai. You've got 1 shot only, however it is a flank shot, so you get a reroll. So we are within short range, so that is a hit. They save on a 5, so they don't save it. Moving across, the bowmen who've moved across here, they might as well fire at, well I think they'll fire at the assegai as well. here. I'm assuming that this area is just, they're mingled in here into this part of the village. They'll fire at them. One shot hitting on a 3 because it's close range. They miss. No more missile weapons here. So we're just down to the combat, which is going to get interesting. So let's start with the samurai. They have a hand-to-hand value of 9. 6, 8, 9. Now they would be hitting on a 3 because they won last round. However, they are being hit in the flank, which basically takes 1 off their roll. So they lose 1 per face. So they go down to a 4 to hit. Somehow I managed to cock dice there. Right, so they have got 3, 4, 5, 6. They're also tough fighter, as we know. 7 hits on the peasants. Peasants are saving on a 5. Still saving reasonably well considering. So they lost, but they've lost 5 casualties this time. I think they are not long for this world. They fight back with their 3, because they're a small unit. 3 casualty, 3 dice hitting on a 5 because they're shaken. They are also tough fighter, so they hit twice. 2 saves of 4 for the cavalry. Save 1, lost 1. So the cavalry have now gone shaken, which is what we wanted to achieve, really. Sacrifice the peasants to try and slow down the samurais, the nature of the game. Then we've got the other charge from the skirmishers. They only get 1 dice. They are charging, so it hits on a 3, but they're skirmishers, which is -1 to hit. So they only hit on a 4, but they roll a 6. So they do actually hit. Do they kill anybody? Yes, they do. Wow. So 2 casualties on the samurai cavalry. So, upshot. The peasants here lost by 4. They're also shaken, so they're doing a break test at -4. Oh, they rolled pretty well. A 10 goes to a 6. Infantry retire 1 full move away from the enemy. If unable to disengage, which they aren't really because they're a bit jammed in, they have to do another move and go disordered. I think all in all, it's not a bad result for them, if I'm honest. They're not slowed by the terrain, so they're going to come back to there. However, they are shaken and disordered as a result of the extra move. Over here, cavalry lost, didn't they? So they're doing a break test because they're 1 excess of their morale. They are rolling on a -1. However, they rolled a 9. Basically, a 10 goes to a 9, which cavalry move 1 full move away from the enemy. So they do that, which I think is a pretty reasonable result. They didn't like being charged in the flank, so they do 1 move away, gets them basically back to here. However, they are shaken and disordered. No, they're not disordered, they're just shaken, sorry. So probably not going to have much to do for the rest of the game. Now the archers could follow up, but they're not going to. I don't think they'd make contact anyway, so they're actually going to pull away. No, that's black powder rule. No, they can't do that. They'll just stay where they are. So they've scared off the cavalry, which is a good result, really, I think, given the fact they were fighting against their superiors in many ways, but fighting in the woods against skirmishers and against villagers who know the woods. I guess that's the upshot from what happens, basically. Right, it is now turn 4 for the Oda clan. So yeah, back in a minute. Right, we're up to turn 4, and the assault is well and truly going in. So we've got the 7 samurai holding on there. We've got support from all the skirmishers, cavalry getting lost in the woods. Over here the Ronin have got across, but they're about to be confronted by some reinforcements coming the other way, and their cavalry support is looking a little bit weary. So let's start with initiative moves. So initiative move here is for the Asagaru to charge into the 7 samurai that are waiting there. I think that's all the initiative charges I've got. Unless we charge there. No, I think they're going to have to continue. It's a bit awkward actually, because the cavalry here are just going to be continually hit by those skirmishers unless we do something about it. But if we charge them with this samurai, they'll just run away. Could try and shoot them to pieces, but really the samurai want to take on the poor old peasants that are back there. So it's rather. I think they're going to have to clear those skirmishers out the way. I think that really that's going to have to be their. Do they want to? Now you know what, they're going to go for it. These are going to charge there. They're going to need 2 moves, and they're going to be supported by the other unit there beside them. They rolled double 1, so that is absolutely fine. These are regular infantry, so they can't evade, and they're just hit by the charge. Let's just move forward to support, and there you go. So that is everything on this command that can move. The general will move across and try and rally off some casualties. He rolls a 4, so he's going to move over to the cavalry over here, and he will remove one of their shock, and they are no longer shaken for the moment. Right, that is that. So what else we've got movement wise? Let's start with the I think let's start with these spear armed Asagaru. They're gonna move forward as fast as they possibly can. A 6 is 2 moves, so they're moving at half speed because they're in all this. Because they're in the paddy fields. Give the arquebusiers something to think about. The cavalry, I think they're just going to get forward as fast as they can too, but they fail. I don't think we're in range. We could take a re-roll. It's going to be 2 over 12, so we'll go down to a 6. Well, let's try it. They've got nothing else to do. They still fail. So basically that stops everything else moving which means the poor old pikemen go in on their own with no support. No, these boys, these samurai can do a move because they are in march column. I don't know whether march column can support, so I need to check that out, but they're going to move forward anyway. Like so. Okay, that is that. So we've got some shooting to come. The cavalry can't see the skirmishers, so they can't shoot. I think these fellows are out of range here. Yep, they're well out of range. So we got no shooting at all for the Oda clan. No shooting at all. So we're straight through to combat. So we'll start over here with the one that's a very one-sided affair. So we've got foot samurai armed with a yumi. So they are actually no, I've said these are ronin, haven't I? So they are 6 dice. 6 dice. They will be hitting. What other benefits do they get? They're tough fighter and they're swordsman. Now swordsman, so they get a plus D3 worth of combat result against enemy infantry, so we'll worry about that afterwards. So they got 6 dice. They are hitting on 3s with 1 reroll. Put away so I can not the best roll. 50-50, which given the odds should not have been the case. They get 1 reroll because of the tough fighter, which also misses, so they only hit 3 times. Which is slightly concerning. The peasants only save on a 6 though. They don't save any, so all 3 go through. Let's mark that on. The peasants, they only get 2 dice. They will be hitting on 5 because they're shaken and disordered. However, they hit with 1 hit on the Ronin, who have a save of 4, which they don't pass. So we'll see what the result. Oh, it's 3-1, but the Ronin, because they're swordsmen, they get a D3 worth of result. So extra 2. So they've well and truly won 5-1. So the peasants have to do a break test at -4. They rolled a 4, they're gone. Really not going to be able to stand in front of a whole load of trained swordsmen, are they really? So there's 1 casualty on that. But you know, they're starting to whittle down, or at least cause some headaches to the samurai. Right, so over here we've got our fight. So the Ashigaru have a Yari, which is basically the sword, gives them 5 attacks. They will be hitting on 4s. No, they won't. They'll be hitting on 3s. Just pull away. Here we go. They don't have anything benefit, so they actually hit with 4 hits though. That's pretty good. The defenders are normally saving on a 4, but because they've got the protection of the barrier, they're saving on 3s. Still lost 2, so 2 hits on the 7 samurai, which is not what we were expecting at all. Put that to mark the casualties. they fight back. Now there aren't any stats for the Seven Samurai. They're individual character figures, basically, is how they're designed to use them. I'm going to use them as if they are a full-sized samurai unit that also inspire troops around them. I think that's the fairest way to play them. So they get 6 dice. 6 dice hitting on a 4. Being tough fighter, they also get a reroll. So they hit with 4. So the Asagura have 4 saves of 5. Oof, they don't save any of them. So 4 hits. Well, we know we know the result. Oh, actually, also, what I do need to do is see what supports. Bear with me a second. Okay, as I rather suspected, troops in column, march column, can't support. So the samurais at the back here can't support the Asaguru. Oops, I've just taken the dice away, haven't I? Oh, bugger. What did I just do? Oh, it's 4 plays 2, wasn't it? There's no supports here. The skirmishers here can support. They only get 1 support dice hitting on a 4, which they do actually connect with. Does it go through? No. Oh, yes, it does. So that pushes them up to 5 wounds. And also the peasants in the peasant archers in the building, they can also support. They also get 1 dice. They also hit, and they do not connect. So upshot is, even without dicing for the swordsman ability, actually I should do that anyway. Right, let's do the swordsman ability for the 7 samurai. They roll a 1. So it means they win by 4. So we're doing a break test at -4. They rolled an 11. So goes down to a 7, which means you hold your ground. However, with 5 casualties, they're in a little bit of trouble. Two casualties on the 7 samurai, 5 casualties on the Asagaru, which actually shakes them. They only have 4 stamina, so it goes back to 4 again. Well, they already had 1. Still goes back to 4, but they are shaken. And that is the end of the turn. So we're back with the peasants' turn and the defenders of the village. Let's start with the initiative moves. These fellas will pull back slightly. We don't want to be hit in the flank by all these pike-armed Asaguri that are going to cross the river in a minute. Well, hopefully going to cross the river. The rest of the troops there won't move. Oh, we need to dice for our samurai to arrive. They do arrive this time. So the mounted samurai are arriving over here on this flank. Well, I think over here, first of all, they're not quite in initiative range, so the skirmishers are going to move up and try and keep the cavalry busy. They do, so they move forward to within 3 inches of the cavalry to fire another volley and hopefully put another, either a sword or a wound on those cavalry, make them shaken again. Do we do a clash of the samurais? I think we have to, really. So those samurais in the paddy field are going to come forward as fast as they can. They only get the 1 move though, so that's not going to be. Meanwhile, the cavalry at the back are going to come thundering forward as fast as they can, ideally to come in the gap here. They roll a 9, So believe it or not, that's a failure. They can't actually come on the table. Yeah, that's it. So shooting wise, let's start with the peasants here. So they'll fire one shot. It's close range, but there's obstruction cover wise, so there's hitting on 4s. They hit. The cavalry save on a 4. They roll a 2, so they're back to being shaken again. Meanwhile, the only other things we've got here, well, those archers are going to be supporting in the melee, so I don't... do we need them to? Maybe we don't. Do you know what they're not going to support? They're going to fire into these fellas here. It's only one shot hitting on... Oh, it goes without saying, well, hopefully it goes without saying, I'm playing this village not as a built-up area. I'm playing it as basically you're defending it's linear obstacle defending, that kind of thing. So there's none of this firing so many out of so many facings, or when the attack goes in on the gate, you just basically got a better saving roll. It's not this business that it's very difficult to attack built-up areas, and bear in mind in feudal Japan they're going to be quite lightweight, I think, in terms of defences. I think it's that's why I'm going the way I am. So they'll fire one shot at these Ronin here. Missed. So that is that. Oh, I'm going to say no, because I did say they're inspired by the Seven Samurai, so I'm going to give them a reroll. They hit, and they disorder. So they disorder these Ronin, who don't save either, so that's a wound as well. Crikey. So they're up to 2 wounds. Over on the other flank, we've got the shooters. They'll both fire at the next unit of Ashigaru coming forward. Will hit on 4s. It's one hit. They save on a 5. They do save, so no casualties this time. So we've got ongoing melee. The 7 samurai. So they've got their 6 dice. They will be hitting on 3 because they won the last round, and they are tough fighters as well. So they missed with 2. They get 1 reroll, which hits. So they hit with 5 hits. 5 saving rolls of 5. Is 4 casualties on the Ashigaru. They fight back with 5 dice. They are shaken, so they're hitting on 5s. Just the 1 hit, all they get. Does that go through onto the samurai? Bear in mind they've got extra defense. That would have been a hit, but because of the fencing they win. They stop the hit, so 0 wounds go through. The Ashigaru lose by 4. The swordsman ability gives them another one, so they lose by 5. So they're doing a break test at -5. They rolled a 9, which brings them to 4, which is broken. So they are broken without putting any casualties on the 7 samurai this time. It's easier killing peasants than it is samurai, that's for sure. Right, that's all the combat this turn. So we'll be back with the Oda clan turn. Turn 5 it'll be. Right then, it is next turn. So it's turn 5 for the Oda clan. Just seeing if these, whoops, if these were regular samurai, they would have brave rule, which would allow them to rally from disorder. But they are, was it? Oh no, that's rally from shaken. So no, it wouldn't have made any difference. So no, they can't do anything like that. I don't think they're gonna. I was tempted to get them to charge the opposition samurai, but I think given the fact they're well, they can't because they're disordered. I think they're better off just letting their archer friends fire. Over here in the woods, I mean, I think they're going to have another try at removing a casualty, and just hope which they successfully do, and just hope the archers fail for once, and then they can try and ride them down. So that's basically everything on this command. Over here, tricky. So the samurai on the bridge are looking for 2 moves, because they're going to move forward. No, they're looking for 3 moves actually. Move forward, expand into out of column, and then assault the 7 samurais, which they get. They roll a 5, so they move forward, 1 move, expand out, and then charge home. Well, let's see how this one goes. Meanwhile, we're going to do the Asagaru here, are going to charge across the river. You get 7, so it's only 1 move, so they'll only go halfway, well, half a move to there. And I should have moved the commander up a bit. The musket armed ones are going to advance. Well, they want 3 moves. Well, basically they want to get to there, so that's 3 moves if they can get it. That's a blunder. However, the general is only there, so they're going to take a reroll and try and avoid the effect of and they roll a 5, so that is 3 moves. So you can re-roll a blunder if your general is within the necessary distance. So that's 2, 3 moves, gets them to there. Which is basically what they wanted to do to be able to support the samurai. There we go. And then it leaves them with the cavalry left. So they're going to go as fast as they can. If they do get enough by any chance, they'll charge home against those peasants. They roll an 8, so it's just 1 move. So 4.5 is half move. They're getting towards the edge of the wood now. They can probably see out. In fact, they can see out. They're within 3 inches of the edge, so they can at least fire. Finally do something. The cavalry have done very little apart from look pretty. There we go. So that is everything moved on the Oda clan's side of the table. Shooting. Well, we'll see. Are they in range? That's a question. Oh, mounted bows. Are they the same distance as foot bows? Let me just look. Yeah, still 18 inches. So they are in range. So they get 3 shots, hitting on a 4. They get 3 hits. The peasants are saving on a 6, and they save none of them. So all 3 arrows thud into that unit, which is not going to make their day very happy. There's no disordering hit, but it was a hit. Now, the peasants have 4 stamina, so they're okay, just about. Shooting, other shooting. We've got the musketeers here, or arquebusiers. They'll fire at the skirmish target there. It's going to be hard to hit them. You're only going to get 2 dice hitting on 6s. You get 1 6. Now normally that would be a sworder, but because they needed a 6, it isn't. Their saving throw goes up 1, so it becomes a 5, which they don't they don't get. So that's the first casualty on the small unit of peasant archers in there. Moving across, we've got the samurai archers will fire at the samurai coming their way. So that'll be 3 shots hitting on 4. Ooh, they get a 6 and a 4. So that will disorder the samurai. So it's 2 hits on them. They're saving on a 4. Whoops. I need to re-roll that one. Oop, they've saved 1. They rolled a 6. Oh, 6 and a 5. So they saved both. So no actual casualties, but the arrows have disrupted their formations in the in all the paddy fields. We'll take that disorder off. And over here, the archers, underneath the archers, they will fire a volley of arrows. Actually, I've just noticed in the rules they don't give arrows for archers, bowmen. They don't have archer stats for the cavalry, but I've got them, so I'm going to use them. So they're hitting on a 3 shots hitting on a 5. 2 hits on the poor old peasants, who have a save of 6, which goes to 5 because they're in the woods. But they don't save either of them. So 2 hits on that small unit of peasants. Which does shake them in turn. Oops. Don't know why I got a green one. They only have a stamina of 2. So it does shake them. That was a pretty good volley by the horseman. So we've now back to combat. So this is a rather more meaty encounter, should we say. So we've got the charging samurai with swords, and what else have they got? Just sword arm. So they are 6 dice. They will be hitting on 3s because they've charged. Just move the camera back a bit. There you go. So 2 misses from that lot. They are tough fighters, so they get a re-roll. So they hit with 5 hits. Defenders have armor of 4, but they get +1 for the linear obstacle. So only 1 goes through. The 7 samurais fight back with 6 dice. They will be hitting on 4s. It's 4 hits, they get 1 re-roll, just 4 hits. So 4 hits on the charging samurai, who have armor of 4. 3 go through. Oh dear. They're definitely going to be hard nut to crack. So 3 plays 2. So the dice off is important. So black dice for the charging boys. This is to work out their swordsman ability. And red for the 7 samurais. So they only get 1. And they get 2. So basically means it becomes 5 plays 2. So the attackers lose by 3. However, they rolled a 7, so they stay locked in again. But we need to mark up casualties. So 1 more on the poor old defenders, and 3 casualties on the attackers. Oh, hang on, no. Oh no, because I didn't. Yeah, my mistake. I was going to use these to support that, but instead they fired, so they can't support. And the defenders basically used all the supports they could. So, actually no, they didn't, did they? Because they'd fired there. I don't think they can support. They could support. All right, I'm going to add in the supports. Two ones. They hit with 1 and save of 4. They saved it anyway, so it's academic. So the upshot is the 7 samurai again hold their own against the attacker. They're holding that palisade manfully, but they are up to 3 casualties. The attacking samurai are on 3 casualties as well, so it's all to play for. And we'll be back with the peasant turn. Right, I think it's time for discretion being the better part of valour for the peasants over here. They're within initiative move, so they're going to do an initiative move away from the cavalry and get themselves much deeper into the woods, like so. Means they can't rally off, but I'm not sure they're really going to be a high priority for the general. Over here, nothing they can do because they're disordered. But the cavalry, how far are they going to? Are they? Because they failed to arrive. Well, they arrived, but they failed to come on last turn. And a 7 is only the 1 move, but it does mean they get out to about here, and they can at least look threatening. It's only a small unit of mounted samurai, but it's better than nothing. Right, over here nothing much is going to happen, nothing much is happening there either, so we've just got some shooting. We've got the 2 units of muskets or arquebuses. They're in short range, they're not. So short range shot will be at 3. It's a hit. And the other shot is at 4. It's also a hit. So 2 hits on these Asaguru. They don't save either. So 2 casualties. I think those archers are going to support. Yeah, they're going to support the combat, so they're not going to fire. And the only other thing we've got is those archers, but they can't see anything to fire. So that is the end of the what's left of the peasant's turn. It's just to combat now. So sorry, my thing's gone a bit haywire. Right. So the combat. So the 7 samurais, they get 6 dice. Hitting on 3 because they won the last round. They get 1 reroll for tough fighter. They hit with all 6. Defenders, or the black band of samurai, they got 6 saves of 4. Oof! Wow, that is terrible. 5 went through. 5 casualties on the samurai. Ouch. They hit back with their own 6 dice. Because they lost the last round, they are hitting on 4s. They're really not up for that. Only 3 hits. They did get 1 reroll for tough fighter. Still only 3 hits. So 3 saves for the 7 samurai, who will save on a 3. And they save all of them. Wow. So upshot 5-0. Let's work out what the sword ability for the black guys. They get +3. The 7 samurais also get +3, so that evens out. So it's still a loss of 5-0. So they're doing a break test at -5, and they've rolled a 6. So they have broken. Second unit has been doofed up and is routed by the 7 samurais, who are grimly holding on. They didn't take any casualties this time either, so wow. I think because I made them a full-size unit, in stats. It's really been quite pokey. So that is the end of what is that, turn 5 for the peasants. We're on to turn 6. I think this game is almost slipping away from the Oder clan. No way of, at the moment, they've got no chance of taking that built up area unless something miraculously happens. But let's come back with turn 6 and see whether they can pull victory out of defeat. Right, it's turn 6 for the Oder clan. Can they carry the defences? It's not looking too promising at the moment, if I'm honest. So let's start over here. So these could do an initiative charge onto the skirmishers, but the skirmishers are just going to run away. So they're going to try and do a proper full-blooded charge. And see whether they can clear all those skirmishers out the way. They get a 6, which is 2 moves. So 1 move will put them into contact there. So now these fellas have to do an evade. 6 inches brings them back in front of these boys here. Like so. And these will go back with them. And then these fellas will do another 3 inches, which gets them pretty much across the river. Oops. Like so. These Asigara here are just going to swing towards the 7 samurai and try and fire at them. I think that's try and put some wounds on them. That seems to be the best thing to do. So they did that under initiative. I should have done that first, but my opponent didn't mind. The cavalry are going to basically come thundering up the hill if they can. They certainly can. That's 4, which is 3 moves. So let's do some measuring. They move half speed to begin with. Gets them to there. That's 1 move. Another half move gets them to there. Another half move gets them into contact. So they actually slam into the poor old peasants. And then onto the other flank. Well, I think they've got to go for it. So that they're going to do a combined charge onto those. But they only get 1 move. They're only going to go 3 inches, which is not enough to make contact with the samurai there. Actually, that should have come off because they didn't move last turn, did they? And then over here in the woods, the cavalry, they know they're out there somewhere. They're just going to go forward as fast as they can, but they fail. So that finishes the turn. They're out of sight of the commander-in-chief, so that is that. A bit of shooting, not an awful lot of it. We've got arrows here, 3 shots. It will be hitting on 3s because it's in close range. Just 2 hits, no 6s though. Saving on a 4. They save 1 but lose 1. Over here, the arquebusiers will fire at the 7 samurais. We're in close range, but they are obscured, so we're hitting on 4s with 2 shots. Ooh, 6 and a 5. So they're disordered by that. They also save on a 3. Save 1, lost 1. So that puts them up to 4 casualties, which actually shakes them. 4 is the magic number for samurai. Yeah, stamina of 4. Okay, and then we've got no other shooting. So we've got combat though. Combat on the hill. The cavalry have finally got themselves out of the woods and have charged forward. They get 9 dice. They are a tough fighter. So they are hitting on 3. Hitting on 3. Wow, again, dicing for the Odas has been terrible. They only hit with 4 there. They do get 1 reroll. So 5 hits. 5 saves of 6, however, for the Peasants. All 5 go through. They fight back with 4. I've just realised I've been doing supports as hand-to-hand, but actually it's not. It's just, yeah, it doesn't. But I don't think it's made any real difference to the battle, so ignore all that. People have been screaming in the chat, I'm sure. But you don't dice for supports in this. It's just adds +1 to the combat results. Alright, so they fight back with 4 dice hitting on 4s. Well, that's a pretty meaty roll. 4 hits. Wow. The cavalry save on 4. They save all but 1. So 1 casualty on the cavalry, 5 casualties on the Peasants. They are saving on, they're taking a break test at -4. And they rolled 5. So the Peasants, valiantly that they fought, are destroyed in the charge. And 1 casualty on the mounted samurai. Now because they destroyed their opponent, they can continue, and so they will charge into the other unit of Peasants there, and we fight that immediately. These tails on these horses are very, very delicate. I've already lost one. Well, I've got it, but I need to re-glue it. There's another one bending off there as well, which is rather annoying. Right, so I think they're going to roll up the line here. So we've got 9 dice again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Hitting on 3s. Plus a re-roll. No. So they got 4 hits again. Pretty lousy rolling, even then. 4 saves of 6 for the Peasants. Don't save any of them. So they go down 4. They defend with their 4 dice, hitting on 4s. Again, good rolling. Hit with 3 of them. 3 saves of 4 for the cavalry. And they only save 1 of them, so 2 go through. So it's still, they still lost by 2, and they are also shaken as a result of that. So the Peasants are doing a break test at -2, and they rolled 5, so they've gone 2. Oh dear. They've worn out the cavalry, but the cavalry have done their bit. So these Peasants have died as well. They can't continue the charge because they can only do that once. So, interesting. I was about to call it, and now I'm thinking I'm going to have to play another turn at least. All right, that is the end of the Oda clan's turn 6, I think it is. So on to the Peasants. What are they going to do here? Well, I think first of all, these skirmishers are going to have to fall back into the built-up area. So they'll go into that side of the built-up area. So imagine they're basically in this building here, and these ones, God knows what they're going to do. They're going to have to come out here, I think. Now, because these are brave, they can automatically recover a shaken. without needing to do a break test. So that means they recover to just disordered. And do they have any other special abilities? They're loaded with them. So they don't have elite, so they can't rally the disorder, so they'll just stay where they are for the moment. Over here, I feel we've got to do some charges. So this unit is within charge distance, so it will charge the samurai there, and the cavalry are going to try and come bulldozing through and hit the archers. Ooh, they rolled an 8. It's not going to be enough to get the distance. So they just get down to hit the marsh and they stop, or hit the paddy field and they stop there. Who was that from? Don't know what that was from. Must have been one of the earlier casualties. And then the commander will try and rally off a casualty off the skirmishers. She fails. So I think that's it. I think that is it. Shooting wise, we've got 2 musket shots. Well, one will go on the cavalry, which is going to be hitting on 4s. No, and the one out the side of the building fire at the pikemen be also hitting on 4s. No effect. We've got the archers here that will fire at these, so 1 shot hitting on 3 because it's close range, but they miss as well. That's all the shooting done. So it's onto the combats. So the samurai who've come charging in, they get 6 dice. They will be hitting on 3s. That's 4 hits. They get 1 reroll for tough fighter. 5 hits. 5 hits on the Ronin, who save on a 4. Oof, 3 went through. They fight back with their 6 dice as well. Hitting on 4s because they received the charge. That's rather better actually. Oh, that's 4. 4 hits, they get 1 reroll. 5 hits. So 5 hits on the incoming samurai, who save on a 5. Sorry, 4 even. Crikey. And they lost 4 casualties. They only saved 1 of those. So 4 plays 3. Let's dice to see what... so they get a support, which basically gives them +1. Like so. And now we need to dice for the effect of their swordsman ability. So the attackers, D3, they get 3. That's useful. So that pushes their score up to... hang on. We'll come back to that. And the defenders, also swordsmen, they also get 3. So that cancels it out. So forget that. So the upshot is, because of the supports, these fellas win by 4. No, by 2. So they're doing a break test at -2, which they roll a 4, which destroys them. Oh, that was not the glorious recovery we were hoping for. These are defeated and are pushed off the field. Go down in a heap of muddy glory. These fellas are actually shaken though, because they're up to 5 casualties. So we'll take them back to 4 because that's their break point. And that is the end of the Peasant turn. Now that didn't turn out how I expected it to at all. We'll take the disorder off then. So it would be next go to the Oder clan. So let's have a recap. So we've got a situation where the village is still firmly in their hands, but pretty much all the peasants have been cut down. There's nobody controlling. There's nobody left, apart from the one unit in the village. However, the reinforcements have failed to arrive. I think I'm going to declare it as a minor victory to the Oder clan. They've lost a lot of men. They've lost samurais, they've lost some Assigaro, they've lost their cavalry have taken a right old pummeling, as have their Ronin. But they have killed pretty much all the peasants in the village, and the 7 samurais have just about held it. And I think they would probably be allowed to honourably retire from the field, taking with them what's left of their Assigaro. Well, they're all still attacked. All their Assigaro arquebusiers and the cavalry who've just arrived will probably go, you know what, that's too big a battle to fight, and would slip away. And I think the Oder clan would probably allow them to go and escape the battle. So there you go. That was my first attempt using my new feudal Japanese armies or figures. I'm not claiming to have painted these because I haven't. There's a few I painted, but not much. Most of them were painted for me by Outpost Miniature Studio. Jack did a phenomenally good job on these. They just absolutely love them. And the other, the Ronin over there, I picked up on eBay, and really pleased with how they've come out. They just look absolutely awesome, and real character to the field. Looks very colourful and very engaging as a game. So I've got more coming. I may even paint some myself. But I've definitely got more coming from both eBay and also from Outposts. So looking forward to having some bigger battles and also playing some of the other rules that are in this supplement. As I say, I didn't play the ninja rules that there are, the whole sort of setup you can play around, sort of preamble to the game. I didn't play with the CNC capability rule, which basically looks a lot of fun and interesting, but it's difficult to do those rules. Well, I haven't got the CNC figure yet painted up, but also it's very difficult to play those out solo. So, but it's nice to see, and actually I like the way the figures play out. Muskets are not dominant; they're annoyance. It would certainly help with my Oder if I take the upgrade to allow them to be marksmen. That would certainly help, but they're only firing 2 shots, so it's not exactly going to be devastating even then. But if you can disorder a few to allow then your pike armed Astigura to go in, that would be great. I think the samurais are vicious. That swordsman ability, the brave ability, all the bits and bobs they get, and tough fighter is absolutely, and yeah, can be quite brutal in the combats, but great fun to do. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe, share, do all that good YouTubey stuff. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comments down below. And are you going for it? Are you going to have a go at this period, or do you already? In which case, any particular preferences on clans? I chose the Oder clan for no reason really, other than just I'd heard of them and I thought they'd be fun to do, so that's why I went with them. But interested to know what other people are going with. So thanks for watching once again. I will see you all again soon. This is Dom, signing out.